Good evening, Christmas Tide fans. I've been breaking down my defense and offense shows. I broke down my defense from defensive line to linebackers all the way to the DBs. Starting my offense breakdowns. I did the quarterback breakdown, but with the games coming up next week, doesn't give me much time to kind of go down the whole depth chart and the whole prospects and lines and who's coming in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the running backs and the receivers on this edition, and I'll do my O-line and tight ends on my next edition. But we're going to start with running backs. We're just going to break these running backs down real quick. Guys who's on the roster. We're going to break down some guys who's coming in for the 21 class, and then we're going to break down some guys who's coming in for the 22 class. We'll start with Brian Robinson Jr., senior, 5th year, 6'1", 228, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 4-star coming in. He has bid his time. It's his turn to shine now. He did have 91 touches, 483 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's pretty good considering you're behind Najee Harris, and Najee Harris pretty much got the workload. So he's going to be the bell cow. He's going to be the main guy this year. I look for him to do good things. Like I said, he's waited his time. And he could have left. He could have put his name in the draft. He could have put his name in the transfer portal, but he didn't. So he stayed. He knew this was going to be his year, and I look for him to do good things. He does have to learn how to pick up blocks a little better. He does a good job at it, but he just hasn't got the quality in-game time as some of these other running backs have. So other than that, though, North and South runner who will run you over. He doesn't try to avoid contact. He doesn't try to avoid tackles. He will run you over. So, good things will come from Brian Robinson Jr. this year. We're going to Trey Sanders, Jr., 6 foot, 214, 5-star coming in Bama, from Fairfield, Alabama. In his career, he's touched the ball 30 times, 134 yards, no touchdowns. Has been injured, though. As a freshman, he come in. He had a few games, got injured, was out for the rest of the season. The next year, while in camp, he was in a bad car wreck, broke his pelvis. That put him out for the whole 2020 season. But he's been working his way back up. And from the reports that I've read and from the things that I've seen, he looks to be doing pretty well. I mean, when you break a pelvis, you normally don't come back to play football. It normally kind of just ends your career. But he has worked through that. He has trained through that. And I believe that, he's going to have a good year. If he can just put his speed on that field and give him the ball, and he's healthy enough to run, the kids are going to be awesome. So it's going to be good to see Sanders kind of back at Robinson. Next, we'll talk about Mcclellan, sophomore, 5'11", 215, 4-star coming in. Lido, Texas. Was committed to Oklahoma, ended up signing on Bama, though. So touched the ball last year 23 times, 245 yards, and 2 touchdowns. It's definitely going to be in the rotation this year. Could possibly see 4 running backs actually in the rotation this year. It's sometimes some teams don't have one, and if they have one, they'll have a freshman backup. But Bama's got 4 solid running backs in the rotation that's been there, and learn from Saban, who's been there at least a year or more. So next we'll go to Roydell Williams. He's another running back to come in with Mcclellan. 4-star, Hueytown, Alabama. Touched the ball 19 times for 71 yards and a touchdown last year. So, Roydell and Jace came in, same recruiting class. But look for both to stand out this coming year. They're both great running backs. They're physical running backs. You can't really say they're north and south or east and west. They're scat backs. They don't avoid contact. Roydell also had a good spring, too. So, he did catch that long pass from Bryce Young, which was awesome the way Bryce spiked out that defender and hit Roydell down the sideline. So, and then let's talk about Kamar Wheaton, because Kamar Wheaton, come in this class, 5'11", 190. He has been there for fall camp. 5-star coming in, Garland, Texas. This dude's going to do good things about him. He could redshirt the season, but in fall camp, he's looked pretty good. He's looked the role. He's a big physical back. They list him at 190. I think he's bigger than that. He looks bigger than that. He's another very versatile running back that can catch the ball at the backfield as well. He's got good hands, and he's learning. They say he's picking his schemes for blocks and things already. He's great. So look to see good things for all 5 of those. We'll talk about some guys coming in for the 2022 class. Emanuel Henderson, 6'1", 185, 5-star from Hartford, Alabama. Number 1 running back in the nation, number 2 prospect in the state. So that's pretty good. He picked Bama over Arkansas, Auburn, Clemson, Florida State, and LSU. Kid is going to be a baller. You can just go check out his highlights on YouTube. He's got his freshman, I think he's got his freshman, sophomore, and junior highlights on there. So look for him to do good things. He said he's always been a Bama fan since little. He grew up in a Bama household, and he's just always wanted to play for Alabama. And when he got his, when they recruited him and gave him his, when he committed, it was awesome for him. So we're going to Le'Veon Moss, which has actually left his recruitment open. 6'1", 190 from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Number 2 running back in the state. So he chose Bama over LSU, but like I said, he's opened up his recruitment again. So we'll just have to see. A lot of times when they open their recruitment up, they're just trying to test the waters at different places. So we'll just have to see what happens. And he still could come to Alabama. Bama's still going to recruit the way they do, and if not, they'll just probably go up there another prospect. Fill that role. But we're going to see. Another 22 prospect, Trevor Etn, which is Travis Etienne's little brother. 5'10", 200 pounds, 4-star. He's been high on Bama since his freshman year. So Pete Golden and Nick Saban's been recruiting really hard. He did have an unofficial visit to Bama on July 19th. So I think he's got another official visit coming up soon. But he's got Bama, Clemson, Florida, Georgia, and LSU in his top 5. So like I said, we'll just have to see. That's the running backs. As far as me breaking down the running backs, that's it. That's a lot, though. That's good depth all across the board. Most of these guys could be starting for any team in the nation. So most of these guys are going to be in the NFL soon. So that's great to have a running back room that looks like that. We're going to go to receivers next. I'm going to break the receivers down. John mentioned the third. He's a junior, 6', 195. 4-star. He's actually from Brampton, Canada. They say went to Canada and got him, but he got a diamond in the rough, no doubt. 55 receptions, 911 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Will lead the receiver room this year. Look for him. He should have a great year. He's a lot of eyes are on him, so he's when you have Waddle and Devontae Smith both leave your program, and then Henry Ruggs III and Jerry Jeudy the year before that. That's a lot of talent and depth gone. So, Bama's needing some guys to step up. John Mitchell III is going to be one of those guys. I can tell you that now. This is kind of his show. So, Slade Bolden's a junior. 5'11", 194. 4-star from West Monroe, Louisiana. Last year he touched the ball, or 24 catches for 270 yards and 1 touchdown. He's going to nail that slot receiver spot down. When Waddle got hurt, he filled the slot in very nice. He's got the size, he's got the hands. You could also see him in split back sometimes. So we'll just have to see. But Slade Bolden's looked to have a great year. With Minchin and Bolden as your 2 guys from last year that had a lot of productivity, that's going to be good for us. Javon Baker, sophomore, 6'2", 206, is a 4-star coming in out of Atlanta, Georgia. Since he's been on Bama, 2 receptions, 15 yards. He hasn't seen the field a lot. He's seen the field, but he hasn't had a lot of action. He's still learning, the offense. And with Bill O'Brien coming in, it's going to be similar schemes, but we'll just have to see. But I believe Javon Baker is primed to have a good year this year. Jamison Williams, which is a transfer from Ohio State, junior, 6'2", 189, 4-star, from St. Louis, Missouri. During his 2 years at Ohio State, made 6 starts. So 15 receptions, 266 yards, and 3 touchdowns. it's not bad. He did good while he was in there. Like I said, he probably didn't see the field a lot, but when he was in there, he did good. He did have the 45-yard touchdown catch against Clemson in the Sugar Bowl last year. So he's got big play ability. He's fast. He's another track star, very fast. So he brings speed to the receiver. So with Minchie, it's pretty quick, and then you had a guy like Williams, just a track star. That's going to do well. And he's very versatile too. He can play the slot. He can go outside. So he's look for Jamison Williams to have a big year this year. And he's a junior, so he still has a year of eligibility left. Jacquard Brooks, he's a freshman. He actually coming in on this class, 6'2", 190, from Miami, Florida, IMG Academy. So that says a lot right there. Good physical frame. Looks to be a good, he's going to be a great receiver at Alabama. Prep Stars top 20 player. He was part of that dream team down there. So, he looked for Jacquard Brooks to have a good year. He's big, another big physical receiver. Saban's really recruiting these big physical receivers hard lately. We move on to Jojo Earl, freshman, along with this class as well. 5'10", 190, 4-star. He's another guy from Lido, Texas. So him and Mcclellan, from the same hometown. He's a fast receiver. He was a number 48 player nationally. Played in the Under Armour All-American game. So Earl's got speed, hands. Another good prospect to add to that wide receiver room, which is already pretty much loaded. We'll move on to Jai Hall, another big physical receiver, 6'3", 195, 4-star, Valorosa, Florida. The very top coveted prospect in the country. He's a big physical receiver, good hands. As you've seen in the spring game, he made some acrobatic catches. It was awesome. And it's going to give Bryce Young a valuable receiver to throw to. A good, strong, sturdy receiver that you can depend on. Those tight windows, sometimes you got to put them in. Trey Holden, another big receiver, 6'3", 208. He'll be a sophomore this year. Kissimmee, Florida. Saw time last year in 5 games. He's, like I said, he played from Harbor City, California is where he played for. But he is from Florida. He transferred up there to play some of the California schools, some of these like Mater Dei and Harbor City. These are big name schools. Teach your name out there. USC was very high on him, along with Oregon, Florida, and Clemson. They all recruited him hard, but he just wanted to play for Bama. And really who don't? We get these top receiving classes every single year. So we'll move on to Christian Leary, another guy from this recruiting class, 5'10", 175, 4-star from Orlando, Florida, number 68 player nationally. Is another very fast receiver. So you got Jojo Earl and Leary that you can put them in the slot and move them on the outside. Also, you put them in the Wildcat. There's a lot of different things you can do with these small, fast receivers. And Saban's always had those small, fast receivers. And, he's had big ones, but he's always had a few guys that can just come in and play a slot well. I don't know if you guys remember Marquise Mays, but Marquise Mays was the same small, versatile player, but just make big play capabilities. Move on to Thade Jones Bale, sophomore, 6'1", 190. He played in 4 games last year. He had 3 receptions in one of those games, to his credit. But 18th overall player in Florida to come out. So, haven't really seen much of Bale last year. You're probably going to see him a lot more this year because he does have experience. He's been in that system. So, we'll just have to see. These running backs and wide receivers, man, it's so awesome to talk about because these guys are going to do big things with them. Bama's primed to have a great year this year. So, you lose, like I said, you lose Waddle and Devontae, but you still have quality, talent, and depth there. You lose experience, yes, and you lose Devontae Smith, which is a very generational style player. You won't see another Devontae Smith for a while. But these guys can come in and give you quality downs, and do what you ask them to do. And that's it. Just buy in, and I'm telling you, all of them is going to do good things about it. We'll talk about a tight end, Jaleel Billingsley. We all know Jaleel, 6'4", 230. He's a junior this year. 4-star when he come out from Chicago, Illinois. Did have 18 catches, 289 yards, with 14 of those for first downs. So that's pretty good. I think he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. Jaleel has had some off the field issues this year. He's had a few things going on where I think Coach Saban don't think he was there mentally. Just trying to get him to kind of buy in and do what is asked. If Coach Saban wants you to do it a certain way, you need to do it a certain way. That's why he's the coach and you're the player. You have to learn. And I just think they had some things going on, and he decided to kind of get his head right. But you'll see him this year. We need him. We need him big time. And he's a very physical, good outlet for Bryce, because Bryce still need those guys. Those big tight ends that can get in zone or get you them yards that you need. Another one, Cameron too, 6'5", 230. He's a redshirt junior, Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll have a big role this year. He come in as a linebacker, and nobody said he couldn't play linebacker well. I just think he wanted to be more involved because the linebacker room that we had was so loaded. He moved over to tight end, and he's done great there. He had that big catch from Bryce in the spring game that went for a touchdown. But, 6'5", 250-pound, tight end coming at you, just got good hands that can throw you off. He's going to do good things well. So now you have Latu and Billingsley as your tight ends. You can move around. They can both block, but they're more of pass-catching tight ends. You guys like Major Tennyson and Robbie Oots and Caden Clark, these are all guys that's either there or coming in. Tennyson, he's more of a blocking tight end, 6'5", 252, 3-star coming in. Robbie Oots is a freshman, 6'4", 260, 3-star from Rock Hill, South Carolina. But they're probably going to redshirt this year. But you got Billingsley and Latu there, that's all you need. And they're interchangeable. So, that's pretty much it for my guys, coming in. Kobe Prentice from Calera, he'll be there next year, the 2022 guy. And Amari in the block, he's an athlete, 6'4", 220, St. Petersburg, Florida. That's possibly another tight end role, possible linebacker. But, this year is going to be a great year. We'll do big things, when you do have a young quarterback, sometimes things tend to, get a little shaky, just because of the experience. Bryce didn't play all last year either. So Mac Jones went in there. It was his show, and it was his show for the whole year. And you see what happened, folks. He's done great, and he's even doing good in New England. He's probably going to beat out Cam Newton for that job there. More than likely, it's pretty much a go. He's had a great preseason this year. So the running backs we have, the receivers we have, the tight ends that we have, that's going to help out Bryce a lot this year. And the defense of Bama is placing on the field this year with pretty much everybody coming back from last year, and just all that quality, depth, and talent out there. From A to B, it's going to be awesome. So this has been my show, guys. Like I said, I'm going to bring a pregame episode from when we play Miami. I'm going to go over a few things from our end, and we're just going to kind of break down Miami and see where they're at, kind of see how we're going to have to beat this opponent and see where their pluses and their minuses are. And then I'll do my post game on Sunday. We'll go over stats and numbers and talk about how Alabama just whooped Miami. But hopefully that's what happens. But anyway, that's been my show. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. And, any questions you have, feel free. I'll try to answer them the best I can. You guys have a good night. Roll Tide.